Tulips herald the arrival of warmer months, dressed in spectacular garb. This year I decided to grow extra ones in a cutting garden to enjoy their spectacle indoors. I found bulbs on clearance in late winter, so I had to try. I can see here why growing tulips that have been put on clearance around mid-winter is not a good idea. These tulips I planted in the right time, around November, and those tulips I got 50% off because I bought them in early January. I still was able to put them in the ground before the ground had frozen solid, but as you can see, they have not matured as well as these, and they get about the same amount of sun exposure, so that's not the problem. I'm trying to establish here a cutting garden and multiply these. Let's see if it works. I hope these tulips, they may have a rough time the first year, but they'll be able to multiply and grow later on. It is not the first time in history that tulip prices have eluded people, playing games with their dreams. This tantalizing flower was the focus of much consternation in the 17th century. I had purchased bulbs for a fraction of the cost just because it was past their prime planting season. Compared to my other tulips, I could see these cheaper bulbs were growing but appeared stunted. Had I lost my investment in these? The next day, I decided to harvest my better specimens to create a centerpiece arrangement, bringing color to my home. Tulips were the centerpiece of the first recorded speculative bubble, and what became known as tulip mania. Looking at these flowers, it is not hard to see how they provoke desire and economic insanity. While they appeal to the sophisticated upper classes being associated with luxury and ostentation, I wanted to create a humble, natural flower arrangement for myself, using rough twigs and other lowly textures, often seen as ordinary or even ugly, to counterpoint the tulip's polish and vibrant chroma. So I picked up fallen branches with gnarly lines to recreate in a simple woven basket a forest floor scene, as if the tulips had broken through forest litter, dodging twigs and leaves to reach the sun. A common mason jar hidden by the basket and twigs would house the tulip stems, providing water and giving the stalks support. Now, what exactly happened during tulip mania? Tulips had been introduced in the mid-1500s from Turkey, where they originate. Around 1590, they were brought to the Netherlands, as Carolus Clusius, a botanist, found that they grew well there. European flowers at the time were very different from the tulip, so that it stood out as something new, exotic, and beautiful. No other flower in Europe had such intense saturated petal colors as the tulip. We take this for granted today, after centuries of selective plant breeding and new exotic introductions brought about the most garish flowers to any gardener. However, that was only after bourgeois Victorian tastes and later mid-century suburban expectations asked the market to create the most saturated and largest flowers possible. Yet, even compared to all the other flowers today, tulips still mesmerize. Their sculptural forms and vibrant colors attract both pollinators and people. No wonder every respectable Dutch family wanted a collection of bulbs. While they grow from seed or bulb, they take about 7 to 12 years to bloom when grown from seed. In good conditions, they form additional bulbs after flowering, but most of them are smaller and need more than one season to flower. This relative slow rate of replication, together with the fact that they only flower once a year, was the main reason the prices for these bulbs skyrocketed in a speculative market. Futures contracts, promising the sale of plants that didn't even exist yet, added fuel to the fire as people poured their fortunes on these bulbs. As man furiously traded futures contracts in the winter of 1636, ownership of bulbs changed hands even 10 times in a day. By February 1637, the inevitable happened, as the bubble burst and bulbs were never harvested in spring to fulfill the contracts, as prices severely collapsed. This bizarre story highlights human foolishness, that is for sure. But one thing is true, these flowers in a way deserve their high prices. Their beauty is something intrinsically valuable. While humanity commonly values things by contrast of desire and availability, supply and demand, nature has different scales of value because it knows how to be abundantly abundant. If there is one tulip or a million, their individual value is the same. Their dewy petals still enthrall, and their showy color harmonies still enrapture. I have created several new original works of art from my garden and made them available for purchase on Etsy. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support the channel by purchasing a painting from my garden, please visit my Etsy shop. These are one-of-a-kind pieces, so hurry!